So I'm pretty sure all of you have heard the big news about Canon's new C50 and the Nikon ZR. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of these cameras, you've seen some footage, and you've made your own judgments about them. Well, that's what this video is for me. I'm gonna give my judgments on it. I do not have the camera, so this will be no real world footage, but it's just based off the specs and my own opinion about it. So let's get to it. So the Canon C50 is Canon's new cinema camera. It is kind of based off the FX3, FX30 body style that Sony came out with, which makes it very small and compact, but this thing packs one heck of a punch. Now, when it first came out, I heard everybody saying, oh, it was the FX3 killer and the FX3 isn't gonna be able to compare. Well, not so fast. We got to remember that the FX3 is a 5-year-old camera. So I would expect a camera that comes out today to be very competitive or better than a 5-year-old camera. So to call it a killer, maybe. So the camera shoots 7K 60 frames a second, internal RAW. Now that's major. To be able to shoot RAW internal means you don't need to do it on something like an Atomos Ninja. You can just do it directly in camera, and that's a wonderful thing. It also shoots open gate. Now, as far as I can tell, the open gate is only at 30 frames a second, not 60. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what I'm seeing. So I don't know if that's a downside to some people. For me, I don't really care about open gate, so it is what it is, but it's there. The other good thing about this camera for Canon shooters is because it has 15 stops of dynamic range, it opens up C-Log 2 on the camera. Now, I've never actually used C-Log 2. All the Canon cameras that I had only had C-Log 3, but I've heard that C-Log 2 is a lot easier to color grade. I don't know, C-Log 3 wasn't bad. It wasn't the easiest log footage, but it wasn't bad. So if C-Log 2 is better, there you go, this camera has it. Now, one concern for me is the camera's lack of IBIS. It has no type of internal stabilization. It has that electronic stabilization, but no actual IBIS. And for me, I think that poses a problem for a camera that is supposed to be a, quote unquote, run and gun type cinema camera. I think with these types of cameras, especially with the bodies getting smaller, you need IBIS to help steady the shot because your lenses might not have it. Not everybody uses those Canon lenses that have stabilization built into them. A lot of people use cinema lenses because this is a cinema camera. So I think the lack of IBIS was a miss in my opinion for Canon. I believe they should have went ahead and did it. And I understand you're gonna have a lot of people who use cinema cameras. Oh, you don't need IBIS, forget about IBIS. Listen, I get that, I understand that, okay? I had cinema cameras, didn't have IBIS for years. I get it, it's not a necessity per se, but I think for this type of a camera, it is definitely something that's warranted and should have been put in the body. Now, in my humble opinion, I think if they could have found a way to put internal NDs in this camera, that would have made it a million times better. For a camera this size, to have internal NDs, I don't think that's possible with the size of it. I don't know, technology is advancing, I don't know. But if they were to figure out how to get a camera this size with internal NDs in it, like the C80 and the C70 have, and yes, those are bigger cameras, but I believe Canon, you can do it. So just make it happen, dude. Just make it happen, all right? Just do it. But overall, this camera's pretty solid. I mean, I can't even be mad at it. It's got some really good features. Some of the first impressions images that I've seen coming out of it look great. So I think Canon did pretty good with this one. It comes in at $3,800, which makes it a little bit cheaper than what the FX3 is selling for right now. So for somebody who does not have a camera and is looking for something great, I mean, I think I would choose this over the FX3, because the FX3 is 5 years older. This camera is a couple $100 cheaper, like $100 cheaper or something. It shoots an open gate if that's something that you're looking for. 7K internal RAW. I mean, hey, I think it's a good deal for the price. I would have liked to have seen, the price tag be a little bit cheaper, but that's just me. I'm a cheap guy. The camera is actually pretty fairly priced, so I'm not mad. All right, so the Nikon ZR. Now this camera is very, very interesting. This is the love child between Nikon and Red. It's the first camera that they've come out with that's kind of both companies in one. And this camera, it's got me interested. I will say, honestly, hey, I can't even lie. It's got me interested. So this camera is a 24 megapixel full frame sensor. It is a cinema camera also, so let's not forget that. And you get the R3D codec. Now, R3D RAW is something that Red users swear by. I've never used it. I've never used a Red camera. I told myself that never in my life would I use a Red camera. That's what I said. Looking at this camera, I don't know. That might change. I like the size of this camera. I like its form. I like that Nikon stayed kind of with their photography build in the camera. Nikon is a photography company. That's what they're known for. So they wanted to make sure that they still catered to their photography customers without, because camera people can get mad real quick. Now this camera also has 15 stops of dynamic range. Mark Bone did a video and kind of looking at the footage, it looks pretty good. It looks like it grades well. It has this dual base ISO. And the one thing I do like about this camera is it is Nikon Z mount. That opens up a lot of possibilities, because if you are already in another brand's ecosystem, it's easily adaptable to this camera. You can easily buy adapters to use the lenses for Canon or Sony and use on this camera. So even if you decided you wanted to switch to the Nikon ZR, you wouldn't have to worry about trying to get all new lenses. Now, I don't know how well the lenses work. I know sometimes when you use adapters, you lose some functionality in autofocus, but I don't know. But according to what I've read and what I've seen, everything works pretty well. And this camera does have IBIS, so in my book, it's already a win over the C50, but you be the judge of that. Now, what's very interesting about the Nikon ZR is it comes in at only $2,200. So let's think about this. If we just run through the specs of the Nikon ZR, and there they are on the screen. And then we run through the specs of the Canon C50. Which camera do you think is worth it? Do you think you get the Canon C50 with its open gate and 7K recording and pay $38.99 for it? Or do you opt for something like the Nikon ZR, which has stabilization and has the Z mount so your lenses will adapt very easily, for $2,200? For me, I guess what it's gonna boil down to is whatever the heck you wanna do. I mean, let's just face it, y'all. Every camera made within the past 10 years is good, okay? Every camera made within the past 5 years is great. So you can't go wrong either way. It's all gonna be based on your budget, which ecosystem you wanna get into, usability, and what suits your needs. We sit sometimes on these channels and we talk about these cameras and we hype them up and we talk about their pros and their cons and all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, all of these cameras are great. All of them are more than enough to do what 85% of the people need to use them for. So it's really just gonna be up to you. For me, if I did not have anything, I would go for the Nikon ZR and then spend the rest of the money on a good light and a good lens. That's just me. Now, some people might have bigger budgets, and they might want the C50. They might want to get into Canon's ecosystem. Canon's color science is top notch, so that might be something that they're looking for. So it's all dependent on usability, man. But I think what has to happen is YouTubers and people that review cameras and all that stuff, we just got to be honest and say that whatever you choose, you can't go wrong. So you're not going to be disappointed with whatever camera that you choose. Remember that, whether it's the one in your pocket or something you go pick up. But y'all let me know down in the comments, man, which one of these cameras do you think is better? Which one is good for you? I just wanted to give my opinion on it. I may rent out one of these cameras, you know, when they become available. I don't know yet, so I can really test it out for myself and see. I don't know. But of course, if I do, y'all will be the first to see the footage. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this video, man. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.